Yes, that is the key. The moment you reflect, reflection is done by the intellect, not by the mind. Mind will continue to have the impurities, maybe anxiety, reaction until we purify it. But what is most important is that you reflect instantly. The moment, the moment we have some challenges, we start reflecting. Means we are raising self awareness, and we are raising self awareness, and in that self awareness, we change the mindset. Uh,
But
yeah,
it looks for me like external awareness, not
yes,
like continuous peace inside, which nothing able to destroy.
yes. We have to move from the external awareness to internal awareness. Fact is that there is no stress deeper inside, at the deepest level. It is always in relationship with the world outside. So there we have to we have to rise in self awareness, we have to raise self awareness, and then we invite intellect to contemplate and reflect. And when we contemplate and reflect, we know, we recognize that it dissolves. If it dissolves, we are a seeker. If it does not dissolve, we have to make lot of preparations to dissolve it. Yes, you're right. It has to do with external. I'm talking to you, so it is an external awareness. But definitely, awareness is also inside. I know my state of calmness, and from the state of the calmness, I'm talking to you. When I'm talking to you, it is external. The state of the calm is inside. Let us see again with by another format of the practice, which one you like. Eyes are closed. Mangalacharan in the mantra, we are going little deeper into it. So when the eyes are closed and your mind settles in place, position, and posture, and being comfortable in the sensation, comfort, and steadiness, okay, you are already prepared. Who prepares? The intellect. Understand it very clearly. It is the intellect that prepares you, that becomes aware, and that prepares you. Just see that we are going. Everything has to be understood clearly. That is how we move from ignorance to ignorance to wisdom. So we wait, we are not in a hurry. So when you are not in a hurry, you wait and not in a hurry. Not in a hurry means what? Intellect or you can say discerning intellect has taken over has taken over the mind, taken over the default mind, or you can say crazy mind. This, this, this attitude or this state takes long time. The rest is easy. And now let us move to directly. You are already comfortable. You move from the now you see you move from the external awareness to internal awareness. As you were explaining, I got your statement, and from there I can make it very clear where your mind is. So, with that line, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, your mind is free to say, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. If you remember, so it's very good. Sanskrit line, you can chant it, or you could chant maybe 3 times or maybe 5 times, depending on the day when you do it and the state of your mind. If the mind is awfully busy, and so you can do it couple of times. Then what is the simple translation? May there be happiness for all. So we have a simple translation. May there be happiness for all. Now what is the deeper meaning? So happiness and harmony with the dharma. Where is dharma? Living in tune with the cosmic order, where life supports inner growth and evolution. That is the meaning. You have to listen to it again and again to be very clear and contemplate. To live your life, you have to reflect on simple life with modest resources but high mental and physical well-being, honest work, and association with some teacher of the Eastern wisdom will help us to move ahead. So, all these are included in Mangalacharan. Answer is yes. So, we remind ourselves, again, we are reflecting. All these are processes of reflection. So, we remind luxury without contentment, less happiness. Simplicity with devotion and alignment with the natural order, or you can say the principles of Eastern wisdom. Principles of Eastern wisdom. Two options. We rediscover happiness. What is that happiness here in Swasti? Safety and auspicious orderness means recognizing this safety exists all the time, in all the locations, in all the events. So when you are reflecting this helps you to get rid of the anxiety. We are still going into the deeper layer. That is the way the Mangalacharan works. Now you're going deeper. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. You have to understand, peace is freedom from the disturbances arising in the ego sense causes what? Anxiety, causes reaction, causes attachment. Again, I'm repeating. Peace is freedom from the disturbances arising in the ego sense or impulsive mind, in the ego sense, or you can say, or in default mind. Simply, we have already discussed about the default mind. So we have to reflect. I use the word disturbances. The root of disturbances, the ego becomes anxious, reactive, and driven by attachment to pairs of opposites, loss or gain, honor and dishonor, pleasure and pain. Ego, or you can say the default mind. Now we have found the root cause of, we have found the root cause of anxiety, of fear, of duality, of conflict. The more you reflect on it, the mind is not going anywhere. Then what is the path to the peace? The true peace emerges when the I-ness or default mind, pay attention, when the default, when ego sense or I-ness or default mind is not constantly driven by reactivity to these opposites. So it means the moment you have an anxiety, the moment you have, for example, you have anxiety or fear, discerning intellect, as you said, discerning intellect becomes aware and reflects and dissolves. See, simple practice can lead us to a higher state. Why I'm using the word simple practice? Why I'm using the word? So that our ego, or default mind do not create any importance to itself. If it creates importance to itself, then, oh, I can go into peace. No, that should not be the attitude. No, we are just reflecting and you are moving deeper into the practice. That takes a lot of time to understand, but now you can easily understand. What is the insight? Two people facing identical external circumstances, I discussed before. One reacts, one remains peaceful. So it means I have to discover what makes the one remains peaceful. The difference lies not in the external condition, but in recognition that I-ness is separate from the mental movement or the default mind. Or I can give you other format, or default mind, I can say. I said ego or default mind, or the dualities, or doubt, or pairs of opposites. We discuss pairs of opposites like loss and gain, is separate from the mental movement. Who does all this? Ego, no, intellect. Who does all this? Who does all this reflection? You already know the discerning intellect does all this. So when you can apply the discerning intellect anytime, anywhere, anytime, anywhere. Why I'm saying so? Because the default mind cheats you and says, okay, I have to practice meditation. I have to practice meditation again after I reach home. So during that time, you continue to have anxiety and duality and a conflict. You have to apply this peace principle at least in 15 different situations. You have to apply. What is that application? In 15 situations. What does mean? The example, say for example of a husband. Being a husband is a role, not an identity. When the I-ness is understood as distinct from the role, emotional reactivity stops. So you have to find 15 situations where identity is understood as distinct or separate. The moment you have that awareness of separation inside, you are free, you are in peace. So, do you see the definition and understanding of the peace? Peace is not that, oh, let me close my eyes, do the breathing and find. No, peace is already there. It is veiled, covered by our duality. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. So you know Sanskrit, even if you are saying you know the meaning, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness and wholeness not only in me but in all, everywhere. What is the essence, meaning? Inner completeness. Where is that inner completeness? That there is a recognition. Who recognizes? Intellect. What it recognizes? Nothing lacks in me. Who is this me? This is the real self. It is the real self. So it means I help the mind, default mind, to move deeper. Move deeper means rise in awareness. Rise in awareness means we are dropping and dissolving sense of incompleteness. So, sense of incompleteness, not with reference to the world outside, it is with reference to the world inside. The external world of name in the form will continue to change. So, when it change means it will remain incomplete. Then there will be a problem. No. In every name in the form, there is an existence which is complete. And it takes little time when you contemplate and what it means. like the water in the waves, water in the waves, in the storm, or in a high tide. High tide. Water is water. Water is water. It does not change. So it means through discerning intellect reflects that every name in the form has every name in the form has sense of completeness within. We are all doing, we are practicing, but this practice is contemplation and reflection. For the right reason, I'm using a wrong phrase, the knowledge practice. Knowledge is not practiced, it is understood. It helps you to rise in awareness. Completeness is not achieved through the outer accumulation, grabbing, expecting. You know the cause of the anxiety or reaction, and now you apply this statement. You know for example, you know the cause of anxiety and fear. Now apply this statement. What is that statement? You apply that statement by discerning intellect. Completeness is not achieved through outer accumulation. You have 1,000,000, you want 2,000,000. Do you feel complete? You have 1,000,000 and you want 2,000,000. Even 2,000,000 is incomplete. At least my honey should not have reacted. So you want she should have behaved in a particular way. Is that complete? And you can apply this. Someone with a few possessions but a high contentment. Contentment does not mean that you stop earning, but you start earning with contentment. Someone with a few possessions but a high contentment feels more complete. Why? You are within. Someone with many possessions living in a constant comparison, desire for more, suffers from anxiety. What is the deeper insight? The moment one drops the idea that I need something from outside to feel complete, this thought should be dropped. And then see what happens. I'm not saying that, that you have to do a lot of practice. You simply drop this thought, this idea that I need something from the outside to feel complete. And then see what happens. Wholeness reveals itself already present and experienced. My master used to say this wholeness is like the light. It is indivisible, you cannot divide it. It is whole and the illuminator of all the objects without dividing it. So you have $1,000,000, you have a sense of completeness, you don't divide it. The moment you divide, you want two, you want three. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. As if I'm just talking to you, you are listening, but at least at the same time, you are in the mood of the practice. Your reflection helps you to rise in awareness. We are not doing, all those steps, breathing and etc. etc. May there be auspiciousness for all. Auspiciousness is the capacity. Auspiciousness is the capacity to perceive how any situation, relationship, or thought can become a stepping stone towards the real self. Any thought, I mean to say, any thought, any thought or a feeling, stepping stone to real self or rise in awareness or you self awareness, whatever you say, all are okay in the beginning. What it means, you will definitely, your mind, if the mind has a doubt, what it means. You have an anxiety, that is a stepping stone. You have anxiety, it is a stepping stone. Why? It is a stepping stone. Why and how? It reminds you. It reminds you to be aware of the default mind and move to discerning intellect. Drop the anxiety and gain freedom. We discussed in peace. Okay. The mind learns to extract wisdom and direction from all the circumstances. I tell you, it is like it is very cold outside. You recognize you have already a memory while working on the computer, the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. So now you are going outside. So that memory reminds you, oh, let us put some blanket or some warm clothes before going out. Did you need to make an effort? Did you need to practice? Did you need to be reactive? Answer is no. You simply recognized. That recognition is the capacity to perceive how any situation, relationship, or thought become a stepping stone towards so there is an external peace. How come? You change the perception. Perception means understanding knowledge. You change the perception of that means knowledge, understanding. So anxiety due to the external it is gone. Inner psychological peace in the mind and the deeper calmness must work together. Go and recognize in an external condition, feels the internal disturbance, then brings the inner calm, and in that state you find a calmness in the situation itself. What I said? You recognize an external situation. Because of that, you feel the internal disturbance, and then move from default mind to discerning intellect you reveal peace within. It brings the inner calm. In that state, you are already calm. This is what happened when you reflected. So that so-called wrong phrase for right reason, the knowledge practice can be done at any time. Now you see you are already calm and peaceful. Very good. You are already calm and peaceful. What should I do? What should I do when I am calm? It is the default mind is asking this question. It will definitely ask because that is the nature of the default mind. It wants to remain active. At that time, either a mantra or awareness of the breath or the space within. Anything. So whatever you like, you can even repeat these 4 lines of the mantra. You can even repeat the mantra. Repetition motivates the mind. Even repeat the 4 lines of the mantra. You can be aware of the breath, just casual. Simple way when you recognize the calmness continues. You are there and you find calmness leaves you. It is because of the default mind takes over you again. No issue, you simply repeat it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand, lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside, know your experiences, bring the hands down. That is why our master says suffering is caused by ignorance, and the solution of ignorance is knowledge, not a practice. Well,
Practice is a chance to reflect the peace and then go to
yeah.
regular life.
So as long as our mind do not understand that opposite of ignorance is knowledge, we have to do the practice. Once clarity is there, so why we say practice? Well, to purify the mind, to get some focus so that we can contemplate and reflect. But if the practice takes over you, then comes hallucinations, imaginations, fantasy in the journey of meditation. That is why those who talk a lot about the visions, colors, and hallucination, let me sit into meditation to see the blue color, to see the orange color, to meet my God. At this stage, 80% is knowledge, 10%, 20% is the practice. It doesn't mean that we will not go for deeper practice. Yes, we will go. What our master says that practice has a starting point and a finishing point. So you start the practice and default mind says that I will wait in deeper insight. I will wait as long as you practice. In the moment you stop the practice, I will return again to the same state.
Yeah.
That this understanding takes so many years. I tell you, so many years. We don't waste. It is depending on the prarabdha, the past impression, our situation, our cultural, social conditioning. But the fact is that the default mind keeps waiting. I am very calm in meditation, and now, honey, you are making me reactive. So default mind is waiting. That is not a transformation. What brings the transformation? Mind, you cannot react to anyone. It is useless. It is simply a thought. It is caused by the opposite loss or gain, pain or pleasure, attachment or detachment. Simple. So default mind continues to struggle with attachment and detachment. Practice does not know what is attachment and detachment, only the knowledge knows it. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
I can bet you that you can live into that higher awareness easily. But yes, we will continue with practice also. Is it possible to feel complete by accumulating from the world? Accumulation demands practice and stuff. Answer is no. Where does anxiety actually originate? From ignorance and attachment, not external event. That needs to be understood. External event means in relationship, honey, you are responsible for my anger. No, then if you think like this, you are crazy. It comes from your ignorance. After all, your honey has been calm. You married because he or she was in peace and happiness. You did not marry when, or she was always reactive when you got married. What remains unchanged through all the experiences? The observer, the witness consciousness. So once that is what we did today. I did not talk about it. You understood the witness consciousness and you went deeper through your contemplation and reflection. So both are good. You just, today I was sitting and I just sat. My mind was overwhelmed with the mantra Shivoham, and I woke up around 3:40. And then, I sat down and eyes were closed and got absorbed completely. Two options. In anxiety, our mind is overwhelmed with anxiety, attachment, and detachment. When your mind is overwhelmed with this understanding, the mind wants to go within. And I was sitting, and I never thought that it has been 2 hours. Well, if that state of the mind is not there, adjust, place, position, posture, being comfortable, being carefree, and then you start the mantra. So you have a total freedom of the practice. On any day, you can change the practice. If the mind is already calm, don't waste the time, go deeper. Start with the mantra. Mind is not, still it is oscillating, it is distracted, and no problem. Okay, place, position, posture, being comfortable, being sensation, comfort, and steadiness, and then sensation, relaxation, stillness, being carefree. Let me see, notice, and observe. So now you have already developed an observer mindset, then you start with the mantra. Still, it is not happening. Start chanting the mantra loudly. It means the mind is still running outside and it wants to go out through the body. So use the body, loud chanting. You are using the body plus mind. It will help. So that is how these practices were designed by our masters. Oh, no, you have to chant loudly, you have to do it silent. So our masters, that is why they categorized, how many? They categorized 5 types of mantra chanting. Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, Apara, or you can say the Para. You might have read Ajapa. So you start Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu louder. Then Madhyama means that you whisper. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Pashyanti. Then your eyes are closed and you see the mantra. Pashyanti. Pashyanti means seeing. Then you are doing non-verbally. You are doing verbally deeper inside. Fourth. Fifth step, it starts happening inside. Why it starts happening? It is very deep inside. The mind has lost the power to have an ego, and still it is happening. That state, you are already absorbed into meditation. You wake up, you need not to repeat the name, I'm this, I'm Michelle, I'm Michael. No, you know it. That's a non-verbal recognition. You know your gender. You don't say I'm male and I'm female. It is in the field of awareness. So if all the objects can be in the field of awareness, why that real self is not in the field of awareness? It is because of ignorance, because of the impurity, because I give more importance to the objective reality. I give more importance to the anxiety, and that is why I have an anxiety. That is why the master says, repeat, repeat, sincerity, commitment, sincerity, commitment, sincerity, commitment. You are doing it. So, how that sincerity works? You are driving and mantra is happening. You are living. You are talking to someone, mantra is happening. In the beginning, it may be mental. You are saying it mentally, but gradually you live with a higher awareness inside and doing all your activities. So you get rid of, you get rid of, you get rid of anxiety and the fear. So, what is the meaning of sincerity, commitment? That you are addressing the default mind and its resistance and its impurities. So, both knowledge and the practice both are required. We are talking of impurities, default mind, resistance. So, then yes, we have to do the practice plus knowledge. So, when we are doing the practice, one day there is an awakening that anxiety, fear, duality, conflict are not inherent or are not the properties of my real self. You get that experience. Suffering arise from ignorance and attachment to mind based experiences, not from external circumstances or an inherent flaw in me. You are very clear. First thing it happened. But if it happens, observer remains untouched. You become aware of that. You have a clear experience that observer of what? Observer of calmness, observer of peace, observer of anxiety, observer of reaction, remains untouched. When you have that experience that it remains untouched, so will you have no anxiety or reaction or no? These are impulsive nature. They may come and they may go. You can recover very fast, and the time comes you are just aware. You can act. You can play anxiety to get the things done. Otherwise, you are free. No, I'm in a hurry. Oh, you did not prepare your breakfast. Okay, now I have to leave. You just play with it. You don't have that. But to get that state, it demands repetition, sincerity, commitment. Commitment. So we can ask the question, how to get that commitment? You see that, now I'm answering in a, but I'm asking a question, how to get sincerity, commitment, commitment, and or whatever you want to say, and regular practice, etc., etc. Mind, when it gets more and more attracted or inspired, two words I use, or simply to say, mind becomes more and more aware or experience the observer, which is actionless, which is pure awareness, which is not changing, it is a knower. That's the progress in meditation. Because you remain as an observer, then only you experience it is, my anxiety is coming from ignorance, either it is coming from attachment or identification, or it is coming from resistance to impermanence. What is changing? I want that you should not change. Honey, you should not change. Otherwise, I will divorce you. So, when you are divorcing, you are still changing. We are making the things more complex. What I'm conveying, what I'm conveying, the foundational principle of sincerity and commitment is a twofold process. One is external commitment, that you have to sit at a particular time to do the practice, you have to apply during the personal, professional, and social life. At the same time, there is an inner change, or you can say there is an inner self awareness, or you can say there is a cognition. What is cognition? Or a reminder, or you can simply say that you remember, your mind remembers. What it remembers, self is actionless, self is pure consciousness, self is unchanging, self is the knower. Default mind, why you poked your nose? That you know that you are into anxiety. It is because of your attachment. Attachment to what is changing will never give you the peace. See that? See that clear. You have been talking that there is an intellectual understanding. Now that intellectual understanding become a cognitive understanding. When it becomes a cognitive understanding, there is a cognitive change. When intellectual understanding is so-called applied here and now, you apply here and now. So it becomes a cognitive understanding. Cognitive understanding brings the cognitive change. Cognitive change. What is the cognitive change? Cognitive change means the knowledge that I know that I am changing. What is that cognitive change? I told you ABC. Did I tell you? Attitude, behavior, and conduct. Your attitude, behavior, and conduct changes. And if the attitude, behavior, and conduct changes, it changes it changes your thought, speech, and action. And when it changes your thought, speech, and action, it changes your personal, professional, social life. Because that is how we always use either thought, speech, and action in personal, professional, worldly life. But now this thought, speech, and action comes from your cognitive behavior of ABC. It has resulted because there is a cognitive change. And the life takes a new turn. In the previous session, one lady, she is almost 85 years old, very active. She says it is like a rebirth. Why it is a rebirth? Now I can pinpoint instantly even the small challenges in my life. They do not disturb me. So we have, what we have? Today is Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have 3 days, 72 hours. 72 hours is enough. So you are in practice 72 hours while doing all your duties outside, and see you bring about that change in your life.